Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're just joining us, welcome. We're the Pot Smoking Moms. We have this podcast, and we're so glad that you can join us today. We are here with a very special guest, and the usual, me, Sunny D, and our other beautiful co-host, Captain J.
Hello.
And joining us today is a friend of ours, Bradley King. He is a cannabis coach. He's a cannabis coach, which is super interesting to me. And we're going to talk to him a little bit about that and what he does.
Yes.
So how's everybody doing?
Hello, great. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm very, very excited to be here.
Yeah, man. Can you guys hear my dog right now?
Yes. Yep. I will probably have a situation
dog.
like that too happen.
Yeah, let me close my window.
So what are you smoking on there, Bradley?
I am smoking on Stone Road pre-rolls. They are I believe they do multiple, I'm not 100%, they're a new company to me, but I think they do all sorts of, I think they do concentrates too, but don't quote me on that, but big flower company down here in SoCal. And they, I think mainly distribute in LA, if I'm correct. But it is good. This is a sativa. I don't even know, what is it? Chem Dog? Okay, Chem Dog. Yeah, there you go. So it's getting me pretty good right now.
That's what's so cool about all the products over there in California is that everything is packaged and everything is like brand name, like products. You know, we're not there yet where we have all that crazy variety like you guys have there. It's really cool. I'm smoking actually in honor of you because I know you're a Star Wars fan. I wore my Star Wars shirt.
Yes. Oh,
and
that makes me so happy.
Some Skywalker OG from Julie.
You just melted my heart all around. That's amazing.
That's really good. I'm smoking GG4 from Sutera. It's a pre-roll, but
there you go.
I don't know what is that Granddaddy Perp or something like that? I don't know.
I think it is the Granddaddy Perp.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
You're smoking a sativa now? Do you prefer sativa? Like, I prefer indicas.
I'm a sativa hybrid.
Okay.
So I would choose sativa dominant hybrids because I think it's just the kid, you know, I have a 10-year-old boy that, especially right now with quarantine and stuff, he is unbelievably active, you know, like just all over the place. So I got to be really like uppity, you know. My family right now too is really depending on me, like cleaning a lot because both of my husband and my mom that live with me are essential workers. So I'm very much stay-at-home dad right now. I'm just doing everything for the family, and it's a sativa definitely does the trick. But I don't want it to be too much, you know. If I do a really strong sativa, it gets my heart just fluttering a million miles an hour, and I'm not about that life. Like I don't want that crackhead like feeling, you know.
Yeah.
But it's good. I enjoy it.
So the 420 holiday, we had a pretty successful 420 virtual sesh. It was pretty awesome. I know you also had some virtual sessions as well,
yes.
Bradley, but we didn't know what the heck to expect when we started that idea.
Yeah, it kind of just blew up into this thing, and we were like, okay, well, this is gonna happen, and it was pretty successful. You know, I mean, it's a learning experience. I think we're all kind of navigating this new, you know, normal. So it's like, and I'm still not used to doing Zoom meetings with for the podcast because it feels a little awkward, and you know, you with the microphones and the headphones, like you get into this zone that it's just like it's not the same when you're doing Zoom sessions, and I don't know. It's really hard.
And it's especially not the same because we're not together. Like it was our excuse to get together once a week and shoot the shit. And now this is the way we do it now.
But the good side, the flip side is that we are able to talk to more people in a wider range of area. Like people who we would have never really talked to before when we got together on 420 with all of the, well, it was mostly ladies. There were a few dads and stuff in there.
I think we had two gentlemen joined throughout the whole thing. And the rest were all ladies and all moms. And we had moms from all over the country. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
Like, I can't believe the reach that we've made from here in little Hialeah, Florida. Right. I never thought that this many people would actually be tuning in and listening to our crazy asses every week.
Yeah,
for sure. That's amazing, though. That really is. That is what's really unique about this, right? Because we get on so the social media platforms like the Instagram and like the TikTok, like we get on live and people just comment, and the Instagram, you can join people every now and then, but only like one person, the Zoom thing is so intriguing almost that like everybody, like you can see everybody, and everybody can see you and you're having this big conversation. You can see everybody like looking around at everyone, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And it's kind of more entertaining, to be honest. Like it's different though, for sure. Like I agree with that. It's different, but I don't know. I'm kind of into it though. I kind of like it.
It was cool because it was like we got to have a moment with our followers and listeners, like people that we comment and DM with and talk to pretty often. We actually got to see them face to face and talk and have interactions and have moments and great conversations. Like some women opened up about some really amazing parts of their, stories, chapters in their lives that are very private, and they were really open, and it was a beautiful thing. It really was.
And everybody was connecting through it. It was great to see people connecting through it, because towards the end we would see people kind of signaling to one another and talking in the chat and like going, hey, like let's be friends outside of this,
Yeah, because they lived in the same state and they realized, hey, we're in the same state. Like, where are you?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's amazing though. It's amazing to give people that kind of connection, because especially right now during times like this, I really want to try to I'm doing something similar on the 28th of April, just like a big Zoom sesh. We're going to kind of do a mini Q&A, just talk about like what we're doing to keep our kids entertained, stuff like that. But I really want to try to do that weekly right now, especially because I think this is going to honestly continue potentially past May. Just over here in California, at least, because like our cases are just skyrocketing every single day. So it really is important for people to have that interaction, especially for mental health reasons,
Yeah, absolutely. And if it's any a time to either aggravate, dormant things emotionally and mentally right now, it's like now's the time that it's like it's insane, because there's so much crazy stuff happening, and it just heightens people with that already have it, and it affects people who don't have or don't show signs of like mental issues like that,
Right.
Yeah, this could be pretty traumatizing. I mean, but you just we learn to kind of remove ourselves from all that and do things like this to connect with people and just talk about all the other stuff that makes us happy,
Exactly. That's all you can do right now in this moment, it's just the best that we can every day, and try to connect with people the best that we can. And it helps. This stuff does help.
Yeah, we're going to do, since it was so successful, we're going to do a virtual stoner karaoke, which was kind of me goofing around, making suggestions, writing checks I can't cash.
Right.
Set your bar very low, so that way you don't mind the dust that's happening, because we're all kind of learning this new technologies.
Right. Absolutely. And that's okay. We'll keep learning together.
But I'm excited for that. I still have to pick my song.
Yeah, we're going to do it. It's going to be fun. I'm inviting everybody to get wild and crazy. What song are you singing?
I need a little help from my friends, because I love the Beatles, and it's an easy song. It's not too hard, and it's fun, and we all get high with a little help from our friends.
There you go.
Yeah. I like that.
That one. What would be your song? What's going to be your song?
If I had to choose a song, I would say, so I did Cardi B, Bodak Yellow at karaoke like a year and a half ago, and I slayed it. But I kind of messed up at the end, so like my goal has always been to repeat it and just like demolish it. You know what I mean? Like I just want to I want to do a full-blown performance. I don't know. That's just that's my vision.
You have a week. You have a week to prepare for this moment. Let's do it.
I really think I need to start I need to put on my heels right after this and start practicing.
I would love to see that. I really hope that you join us and do that. That would be amazing.
I do, and I hope everybody.
I would love to. I'll totally look at everything after this. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be really fun. I mean, even if it's a bunch of a few of us just messing around and having a good time, like.
Yep.
It'll be fun. I want to sing some Beastie Boys, not gonna lie, but I don't know.
I know that's your fave.
Yes, that's awesome.
We'll see. That's Saturday, May 2nd at 7 p.m. If you guys haven't submitted your emails to our email list, do so we can send you the Zoom link and you guys can join us on Saturday, May 2nd at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So getting to know you a little bit, I knew about you because Captain J had talked about you from Instagram. But she started following you on TikTok, and I was like, look at this guy. He's so charismatic. It's so, like, fun, and the camera loves you.
Thank you.
And as soon as I saw your TikToks, I was like, Ben is one. I was like, oh, I like this guy. I would even send Jay, like, videos and be like, yeah, I love this guy. He's fucking awesome.
Oh my God, you're awesome. Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about cannabis coaching. What is that? That's so intriguing. It's so...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Cannabis Coach kind of started back in... So what year are we on right now?
2020. How could you forget?
Right. I know, we're not 2030, right? Okay, 2020. Back in like mid 2018, I started social media. And I started Instagram and everything. And I was like, I started as just doing fully comedy. So I wanted to just do kind of comedy cannabis, but it consisted a lot of overconsumption, which I don't think is like a bad thing, but that's kind of like what my message kind of became, was this comedy, let's overconsume, let's show all this coughing, etc. I kind of was just becoming someone basically just for, what is it called? The clout?
Uh-huh. Okay.
That's what it's called. I'm learning these things. I'm like, what is a fucking cloud? Oh my God. The other day, my husband's like, we Googled it. I didn't want to say that on here, but I Googled it. So that's kind of what I did though. Like I was doing videos just for that, and what ended up happening was I was talking to somebody at the time about, really, I was still doing life coaching and my social media, but I was talking to somebody about incorporating cannabis into a coaching session, and I've never done it before. And I realized, why don't I give this a try and see, how it is. Worst comes to worst, we get a little too stoned, we laugh, and then I have a re-session, without it. So basically, we ended up having a very successful session, and it went very, very well. He really opened up. We both got really emotional, a lot really got resolved, and he's actually doing really successful today, which is incredible. But with that being said, I decided to kind of change my entire social media approach. And I was like, you know what, why am I trying to be like this? And I'm not trying to set stereotypes or anything like that, but I was just trying to be somebody I wasn't, I was trying to just represent somebody that wasn't me. So I completely just revamped everything, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to become Cannabis Coach. I want to be the life coach that offers cannabis in my sessions if the client desires. And my content changed from all this comedy stuff to let's start to bring a lot of awareness to mental health and how much cannabis really... Is that too loud? Okay, I'm so sorry. Okay, my window's open. I'm not going to say anything. Just tell me if it gets a little loud. Okay. But so I was like, I started changing my content to just the mental health and bringing awareness what cannabis does for me. And I started really reaching out to the parent community and just trying to break the stigma, but also, really, I don't know, my thing was in the very beginning was that I just wanted people to know that it was okay to smoke a joint if they were crying. And I wanted a mom to know that if she was having a hard time with her baby, she doesn't need to feel bad if she wants to go take a little bit of an edible so she can relax, so she's not sitting there all anxiety driven all day. You know what I mean? That's the whole purpose of Cannabis Coach is really that I want to show the world that there's those moments in my life that I want to consume to help my mental health. And there's times in my life I want to consume just to have fun. And it's not a big deal either way. You know what I mean? So everything just kind of started changing, and life coaching got really successful. Things got really good there for a long time. Coaching has kind of slowed down a little bit since. I mean, especially like this last like 6 months or so, just with everything going on, you know, and people can't really afford it and stuff, and that's fine. But, you know, everything just really just started to revamp, and I, you know, really found that this was like my niche, I guess, you know, was the 420 Canna parent community, you know, but also too, a lot of my following per se is just people that deal with mental health in general. And a lot of people don't even use cannabis, but they like the fact that I talk so openly about my anxiety and my PTSD and the daily struggles, you know, because it's really easy, I think, for influencers especially to kind of just throw on a face, you know, and try to show everybody that life is really perfect. But I'm all about being the one that's like, I'm just gonna be my most authentic self. I'm literally going to show you fucking everything, and you're either going to like it or you're going to hate it, you know? And everyone, not everyone, you know, because I do get a lot of hate, unfortunately, and we all do, but a lot of people really like that. They really like to know that they can just be themselves and say, fuck it, and, you know, come to my page and feel like they're okay doing what they do.
I know, I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, life coaching is just, it's been wonderful. And right now, especially during this pandemic, you know, I'm so grateful for this profession. So many people need it right now. I'm sorry if I get emotional. You know, I deal with a lot of emotions all day with coaching, and people are really going through stuff right now, you know, and people really need somebody just to listen to them. Not everybody has a spouse or a best friend to call or a mom to reach out to, you know, like people are really struggling, and there's a lot of people that are alone in this, and it's been a blessing. I've been very grateful right now with clients and just being able to help everyone. So
yeah. And we talk about
great.
having like our ups and downs, because this is like a whole roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
But like when we're up, we're helping people who are down, and then when we're down, we find those people who are up to help us out of our little, you know, little episode, because it's like sometimes it's like, oh yeah, and then you're just kind of like,
yeah.
So you just have to kind of end faith, really.
Right. Absolutely. But it's amazing, you know. I try to be as selfless as I can every day, you know, and I really try and give back to people as much as I can. And, you know, with everything with TikTok recently too, you know, my parent audience has grown a lot bigger. So it's been really, really cool to talk to so many parents recently. And I've really stopped kind of doing a lot of texting and whatnot. And I've been doing a lot of just like video messages to people, and people have been loving that, you know, and it's just been, I don't know, life coaching is very therapeutic for me too. You know, like I get a lot out of helping.
So, but how did you get to life coaching? Like what happened that you thought that this was for you, and what led you there?
Yeah. So it's kind of a crazy story. So when I was a wee little one, so when I was 12 years old and 13, I started to dabble into drugs and alcohol, unfortunately, and hard drugs, not cannabis, but hard drugs. I was a really intense kid, basically from age 13 to 16, and I put myself in some really intense scenarios, and I got very addicted to all sorts of different substances, and I was heavily drinking, and I was bulimic, and I was suicidal, and I went through being sexually assaulted by somebody at 16, and things were like really crazy. So my parents ended up sending me to rehab right before my 17th birthday. And just to kind of sum it up, because it's a very long story, but just to kind of sum it up, basically, I was in there for 7.5 years. So not in the rehabilitation, but just in sobriety in general. So I didn't have any sort of substances, cannabis, alcohol, anything. I did smoke tobacco, but nothing else for 7.5 years. And I really kind of grew up, I guess you can say, in recovery and in sobriety. So that's from age 17 to 24. I was completely sober. So I really got I don't want to say, well, I got my shit together is really what it was, you know, and I had an opportunity at a young age to really grow up, you know, and I really I just put my mind, you know, first, and I really took care of myself, and I ended up getting to a spot at like 2 years sober where I was like, you know what, I really just want to help people more than what I'm doing just in recovery, you know? So I started to kind of do life coaching before actually going to like school and getting some certifications for it and stuff, which you can do, by the way. Life coaching does not need to be a certified profession. Read up on it, because you do need to have, you know, some, you know, background and some life experience and stuff like that. There's a lot into it. And I do recommend doing some sort of classes of some sort if you can. But, you know, I just kind of started doing that, and I noticed how much it helped me, because, you know, therapy is really diving into the past. You know, whenever you're sitting down with somebody, let's dive into the past. Let's figure out why you're feeling this way. You know, let's bring up all these issues, et cetera, et cetera. The whole point, what I love about a life coach is that I help somebody at their current spot in life get, hold on 1 second, I'm sorry. That was my son, I apologize. My whole purpose is to help somebody get to that comfortable spot in their life where they're feeling great about everything that they're doing. You know, so I'm focusing on the now and the future. You know what I mean? I'm not focusing on the past. It's okay, what's going on right now with you? And let's do all that we can to get you better and keep you going and keep you, you know, improving your life and going for your goals and your dreams. And that's what intrigued me. I was like, oh, that's what I want. I want to be that inspiring bitch. Like, I want to be like, you know, like I really, and, you know, therapists do that too. You know, I've met some incredible therapists throughout the years, and I've also had some incredible therapists, but I just don't want to dive into like the past and stuff with people too much. You know, like that's not really like where I feel like I can help. You know, like I want to be that motivational cheerleader for people that they're calling every day. Like, I'm just having a hard time going to school, and I'm like, you can do it. You know, like that's who I want to be. Like, that's my mentality, you know, and my vibe. So
it's super rewarding.
Yeah, it really is. It's very good.
Helping with someone's growth, and it's seeing the growth and seeing them flourish into, you know, into a good groove.
Mm-hmm. It's the best part.
You were sober until you were 24. So how did you get back like into smoking cannabis or into using cannabis?
Yeah, so that when I was 24, I basically hit a spot at 7.5 years sober where I was doing everything that 12-step recovery was recommending to me, but my mental health was almost getting worse. And I didn't know why. My anxiety was getting worse. My past trauma was coming up more, and I didn't really know what to do about it. So what ended up happening, hold on 1 second, I'm so sorry. It's the neighbor kid, that's what that is. I thought that was my kid, I apologize.
You're
parents.
I'm so sorry.
Parent life.
Parent life and neighbor and quarantine, you know. I feel you. I'm sorry. The parents probably like, oh gosh, this kid won't stop yelling.
Throw him outside.
Right. But so my mental health got worse. It got a lot worse, to be honest with you, there at the end of recovery. And the recovery program I was in over in Arizona at the time, and the 12-step recovery group that I was a part of and I associated myself with regularly, did not recommend medication at all. So I was really, you know, so I was like stone cold sober, just dealing with all this mental health issues, you know.
No medication, not even pharmaceuticals?
Not even pharmaceuticals. They didn't recommend it. At least these people didn't. I'm not saying all 12-step recovery is like this. You know, I think nowadays too, they're especially a lot more open to it because they realize mental health is like some serious shit, and talking about it all the time isn't going to help. Like sometimes you need to swallow a little something or inhale a little something, you know, to feel better. But, you know, that's just kind of how it was at the time. And I kind of drove myself crazy. So I ended up basically behind all their backs, my sponsor's back at the time, going and seeing a therapist. And I ended up getting on medication, and I ended up getting on some medication at the time. And I got really numbed out from it because I went from just being completely sober to like a high dose of like, you know, basically antidepressant.
And that's what he suggested, like right away. He didn't suggest anything else other than that.
I was at the point where I was having really high panic attack anxiety, to the point where I was at work and I would just start, you know, just racing about finances, or, you know, what am I going to do this weekend? Or, you know, my car needs an oil change. Oh, it's been months. I don't know. And then I would literally just I would leave work because I would be tripping out so hardcore, and I couldn't handle even going back in there. And I would cry all the way home because my heart would be racing. And it was that intense of anxiety at the time. Intensive anxiety. I really think it was the sponsor that I had at the time, but he still didn't recommend anything. So the doctor thought I was pretty intense at that point. It got pretty, you know, up there for me. So he recommended definitely a higher dosage. He didn't like knock me on my ass, you know, but it was a pretty, you know, high dosage at the time. And yeah, I just didn't like that numbed out feeling. So, you know, I was trying to do recovery still, but trying to take these pharmaceuticals behind all their backs, and I was just going nuts, you know. So I talked to my parents actually, and they were actually kind of my biggest motivators. And they were like, well, have you thought of any other alternatives? I was like, I don't really know of any. And they were like, well, you should talk to your cousin. And my cousin at the time was like, hey, you know, I've heard of, you know, medical cannabis. So I ended up, she didn't direct me specifically. That was kind of the only conversation I had with her. But then like the next couple of days, I got connected with some friends that were using it. They suggested it. They were like, it's very different from when you were, you know, 16 years old smoking. You know, that was what, 13 years ago now. Almost 14, yeah, 14, oh my gosh, almost 14 years ago now. You know, so cannabis was very different back then. So my first time really smoking medical cannabis, like I really noticed like a holy shit, you know. So I basically said, you know what, I'm just going to try it. I spent like a whole week kind of debating back and forth with like all this sobriety. Do I really want to do this again? And my husband and my parents were like, you know, like I was saying, my biggest supporters, and like, just do it, honey. If this is really what you feel like you need for you, like try it, you know? And I did. And I was one of those people, thankfully, that like after trying it again, so that was, yeah, 7.5 years of not doing it. I had a really good first experience, and I felt so sane, and my thoughts stopped like taking over me that night, and I felt calm. And I'm going to probably start crying talking about it, to be honest with you, because I still remember that moment with it, you know. And people don't understand, I think, sometimes what cannabis really can do for you. And that was that moment for me where I was like, holy shit, like I'm relaxed now, and I'm calm, and I feel okay, and I'm not freaking out, and like, what the fuck, you know. And I'm not numbed out though, you know. And that's like the crazy part about it, is like I'm still coherent, and I'm not numbed out. And it's like, what? Like it was like a miracle kind of. And I'm not trying to be like you know. So it was just that moment for me, and I was like, I have to try this. And it was wonderful. So I'm very thankful. And I ended up just leaving recovery, and I chose that path instead. And I was like, I don't know, I've never felt this. I think probably within the first 2 weeks of me using medical cannabis, I felt more sane than I did in probably the last 3 years at that point, you know. And it was a really incredible experience. So yeah.
And now you're the cannabis coach.
Now I am the cannabis coach. Yes. That's actually my husband's idea. He was like, you should call yourself cannabis coach because you're a life coach and you want to use cannabis. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And something else that we talk a lot about is because we're parents. I have little ones. I have almost 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. I have he's 6, right, Julian?
Oh, Julie, you broke up a little bit. You said Julian, yeah, he's 6. My son's 6.
Aww.
And you have an older son, we understand. How do you know, have you talked to him about cannabis? We're always like picking other parents' brains because we want to hear from all the parents what their approach is, and kind of like, you know, learn a little bit. I think everybody's always kind of interested in hearing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. No, this is one of the hardest things I think for almost a parent to do, is like, how do I approach my kid with the fact that I smoke weed? You know, like, what do I do? So we've had him now. So we adopted him, I want to say almost 6 years ago now, and he's 10.5, and he's known since he was 9. So just this last like 1.5 years, and specifically this last 6 months, I've been getting more open with him. So how he kind of first found out was he ended up finding, unfortunately, a grinder on our kitchen counter, and it was fully open. So he was able to see the, you know, the flower and everything. And he was like, he's like, what is this, Dad? You know, he called me in. He's like, Dad? I came running in. I'm like, yeah. He's like, what is this? And I was like, oh, you know, my initial reaction, I'm like, okay, herbs, let's, you know, oregano, I don't know. And then I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Right.
Think fast.
Right. I like think really fast, you know? And I'm like, no, okay. So I was like, you know what? Let me explain this to you. I was like, this is called cannabis. And he was like, okay. I was like, so it is, can you guys hear the birds at all or no?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Yeah.
Fine.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay. If you need me to shush them, just let me know. But so we, you know, I broke it to him basically about that, and he ended up kind of just dropping it. And then specifically around summer of last year is when I was like, you know, I think I'm just going to be more open about it, you know, and I've always like smoked in the garage, and it's never been like an issue. He's never really questioned why I need to go into my room for 5-10 minutes, you know, or anything like that, or why I'm stepping outside really quick around the corner. But I don't know. I hit a spot over last summer where I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to start being more open about it, because everything, especially last summer, that's when Cannabis Coach was kind of in full blown, like stuff was like really booming, you know, like stuff was really going good for me. So I felt like that was kind of like the last thing I needed to do was like tell my kid, you know. I was like, well, I'm telling all these parents it's okay to smoke, but I'm hiding it from my son, you know. So I don't know. I was like, you know, I'm just gonna like be really open about it. So now like there's times like when in the morning, you know, when he's like really wanting to hang out, and I'm like, oh no, you know, Dad needs to just do like his medicine really quick. You know, I never say like medicate, because I don't know, I don't want him to say like, Dad's got to go medicate real quick. It sounds a little weird for me, but you know, I explained it to him as the cannabis, and then as a plant medicine, and I explained it to him that it, you know, grows from the ground, it's natural. I explained to him what the cannabinoids are, you know, that that's what's in CBD, because he sees all my tinctures, because I have a ton of tinctures, you know, and I'll explain, you know, that's all the good, you know, vitamins and stuff from the plant that they take. And the plant, he knows that getting high is not just Daddy getting stoned, it's Daddy relieving his anxiety and his stress. But the thing is like, my son knows that it's not a bad thing, because I don't go out there and act crazy around him. You know what I mean? It's like after I smoke, I'm like, who's up, kid? You know, like there's times I'm definitely like more up there and I'm ready to like, let's play, let's have fun and blah, you know, but like, you guys all know what I mean. Yeah, exactly. So now it's really, and what I was trying to say earlier is like, what I've been doing since the summer specifically is like, now if he like sees stuff, I'm open about it. Like, you know, if I accidentally leave a, you know, a water, you know, bong out, you know, he sees it. What is that? Oh, that's what I use for my medicine, you know, instead of like, oh shit, you know, like you gotta hide it. Or if he finds the jars, or if he finds the baggies, or, you know, whatever it is. Like the edibles was the worst though. He did find a brownie, and I had to explain to him it was a medicated brownie. And he was like, so I can't have any? And I was like, no. It's like, you ever see anything packaged, you don't touch it ever. I was like, you know.
Yeah, as they get older and they're able to kind of make their own decision and what kind of snacks they want, you have to start putting your shit under lock and key.
Yep, that's exactly how it is right now. Everything's under lock and key. My concentrates, my flowers in my room, all hidden. Everything is, but it's good. He's very, he's amazing. I'm very blessed with a very understanding. Honestly, what it is that if you just explain it to them the first time and don't make it out to be a bad thing,
yeah,
and don't make it to be this like hidden secret, then it's not going to be a big deal. If you're just like, oh, that's my medicine. Well, why is it green and why is it like that? Well, because it's flower and I smoke it. You smoke it? Yeah, it's not like tobacco. I explained that to my son. I'm like, it's not like tobacco. I don't sit there and get, you know, all this crazy stuff and you know, all these like, you know, I said if I did like a lot, it might be different. I was like, but your daddy doesn't do that. Your daddy's very smart about how much he does. And, you know, I really talked to him about it like he's a little adult, you know, and he really understands it and he's totally okay with it.
Yeah, and that's totally the tools that you equip your child with is education. I mean, they can make their decision as long as you let them know, hey, this is something that you want to put off, and like maybe wait until you're more mature and you're in a different place before, you know, you go there. But these are the facts, and like, you know.
I'm very open with my son about it. He knows about it. And it got to the point where he just caught me, and I didn't want to be shameful and hide it. Because how are we going to destigmatize it? He's going to think it's a bad thing if I'm being shameful and hiding it, like you said. So I was just honest, and, you know, he's 6, so he's kind of young. I couldn't tell him about cannabinoids and all that, but I just made it very simple and told him the same thing. It's a plant, it's medicine. I use it. So then he thought, oh, are you sick? Because I said medicine. And I was like, well, it's not, I'm not sick, like, you know, when you get sick and like, you know, too serious of an illness. It's more, you know, when you become older or throughout your life, parents, and you worry about things, you know, and I explain that, you know, you got to keep it simple when they're 6 years old, but I think it's very important to be honest and open.
I agree. And that's because that is what we want. You know, when my parents did that to me when I was younger, it made me want it more, you know, when they were against it, you know, and I was like, you know, what's weed? And weed, don't worry about weed. That's a drug. That's bad. You know, and back then, obviously it's very different, but we all know, holy shit, we're in 2020. Like, let's get to a spot where we can have these, like, it is going to become recreational everywhere within the next 5 years, you know, in my opinion. Like, there's so many states right now, especially with quarantine, that are debating on making it recreational for people because they're noticing how much it's helping and how people are feeling, you know, and that cannabis sales are like skyrocketing, you know. So I don't know, that's really what it is, you know. It is. It's just that honesty aspect. It's just, let me just explain it to you. It is what it is. I'm not going to use terms like we do. I'm never going to say I get super stoned or I get really baked, or, you know what I mean? It's just dad uses it as his medicine and it helps him feel better. And he goes from being stressed to not being stressed. And he goes from being kind of sad to being really happy. And, you know, and they like that shit. They don't want you to feel bad. You know, like, they don't want you to have all these, like, thoughts going through your head. I don't know, like, my son wants me to have that smile on my face, you know, and he knows that it helps me. So,
yeah,
it's cool.
It improves our parenting, and patience is a problem that I have, and I think it improves my patience 100%.
Yeah.
And like you said, when you're honest, I think that takes away that curiosity and like, what is that I want? You know, I want to do that. I want to be involved in that. And this topic actually came up in our 420 virtual session. One of the moms asked, how many of you grew up with parents that smoked, you know, and talked to you and was open to you about it? And a few moms raised their hands and said yes. And they both said that they didn't start smoking until they were in their early 20s, late, you know, maybe 19, 20 years old. So it wasn't like, you know, when I was a teenager, because my parents were like, no, you don't do that. I was very intrigued. Of course I wanted to try it with my friends, like, hey. So I tried it at 14 years old, you know?
Right. Absolutely. That's exactly kind of my situation. Is everything was like, it was a bad thing. And I'm not saying my parents, don't get me wrong, I'm saying my parents shouldn't have, like, you know, loaded a bowl in the backyard with me at 13 years old and been like, here you go, son, like, let's try this. But definitely, I think an open conversation could have helped, you know, really explaining it to me. But they didn't. They were very like, oh, no, it's bad. It's, you know, it's weed and you can't do it. And it's a drug and it'll ruin your life. And I'm just like, ooh, I want to try it. You know, like, I don't know. It's all about that communication. It really is. And it does. It helps my parenting incredibly. Like, I feel I'm so much more patient. And I feel like I'm a badass dad when I'm high. Like, you know, like, I just really do. I feel like I'm like an incredible dad, and I care so much about him and like what he needs and, you know, how he's feeling. And I'm like more in tune with him as a kid, you know, and I can get on his level. And I'm sure, you know, too, being an only child, it's hard because he wants to have fun, especially right now. Oh my God, you know, like, he wants to like just be going. So, you know, it gets me there.
And a lot of your attention.
Yes.
They don't have to play with.
Right. Absolutely. But it's great. And I'm so grateful for it, you know, and I'm going to continue to do it. And the older he gets, I'll take it one step at a time with him. You know, I'm not saying I'm going to let him smoke at the age of 13. Everything obviously depends on maturity, and he needs to be a certain age for sure. Probably like 16, 17. 18. I don't know. We'll
Hoping
see. But
in college when he maybe tries it, you know, like
that's the hope, right? But I do want to be.
I was, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I do want to be that parent though. That is definitely, if he brings it up and he's like, "Hey, so that smell that I've smelled my whole life, my friends do that too," and I'm like, "Oh, exactly." You know, I just want to be that parent. It's important for me.
Yeah, you want to be open with them. So at least if they get to that point, I mean, again, education is what we equip them with.
Exactly.
Everybody's going to make mistakes. And as long as we've taught them to learn from whatever mistakes they make and not keep, making the same ones.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly.
I'm kind of educating them and hope that they make the better decision. I mean, I was a late bloomer and I think that was good.
Mm-hmm.
I would hope that
I agree.
College to kind of start, delving into that world.
It should be a later on thing because they're really, especially when you're young and your brain's really developing and that's the last thing you need is to be smoking all this stuff and putting all these things in your brain. We need that to develop naturally. I honestly, obviously I don't, no regrets for anything, but doing stuff as young as I was, 13, 14, like we're talking about, like it really did mess me up a lot, because that's all I knew at the time, and I got really addicted to it all like really quick, because it made me feel good and I didn't know how to control it, or I didn't have that maturity yet.
Yeah, but I mean, you're a result of your experiences, and you've grown into someone who could now turn your experiences around and do something positive with that, and like that's great.
Absolutely.
People through their experiences, so
yeah, it's super cool. I want to write a book. I have a pretty intense, like, I went through a lot of crazy stuff too when I was a kid, like full blown, like road tripping it with like really crazy people, like putting myself in like running from the cop situations. Like it was awful, but I am very grateful that I have those experiences now to be able to share, and be able to, so when those people, you don't get it, I'm like, you'd be really shook, what I've been through. But it's amazing, to be able to relate to people.
Write a script. We'll cast it. We'll shoot it.
Oh my god.
We'll do a web series.
We should so make a web series about Cannabis Coach. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Bradley King's life.
Cannabis parenting.
Yes, Cannabis parenting. Oh my gosh, that'd be so cool. We'll talk about that after. That'd be great.
Oh, do it, right?
Watch that web series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on CBD? Like, do you use CBD as well?
Yes.
Like, how often, like, do you use it like a regular daily regimen? Because I've been trying to look into doing that, like, incorporating it like either a tincture or gummies. I'm not sure.
What's that?
Yeah.
This is a full spectrum 1,000 milligram CBD tincture. This is like the best of the best. If I recommend any sort of tinctures, it needs to be the 1,000 milligrams. Oh my gosh, the husband again. I'm so sorry. I'm not going to answer it. Oh
my God. That's why I'm like, that's why in the email that I sent everybody for virtual karaoke, I'm like, involve your family because they're going to be involved anyway.
Right. I'm so sorry. He knows I'm doing this too. We have a routine when he gets home. Okay. So, but yeah, full spectrum, 1,000 milligrams CBD. It's amazing. I take it every morning and sometimes in the afternoon, depending on my stress level. But I will take about 0.5 milliliters to maybe a full milliliter on each side of my tongue. Again, because my anxiety level is so high. That's just what I do. But I incorporate CBD every day into my life. It's hit me in a different way than THC because CBD has allowed my body to almost become more calm. Like it's not like THC does that, but CBD is solely to help you like relax. It's not to, get you all loosey cuckooed up here. And if you use it daily, like you will start to feel the benefits benefits. People give up on CBD because they don't feel it after the first like 3 days, you know, like they'll take it for literally like 4 or 5 days and they're like, you know what, I don't know. But it's like your body's not used to taking it. Your body's used to consuming all of this THC, and now you're throwing in non-psychoactive. Like, of course your body's going to take a minute to adjust, but like people don't get that, you know. But if you really use it and you give yourself that couple weeks of consistency with it, you'll start to notice that, like, I don't know, I notice it like with everything. My energy level increases, my again, my state of mind, my positivity, I don't know, just everything. CBD helps out in a different way. And it's like, and like when I'm taking this and then I like smoke a joint afterwards, it's just like, it's like a A plus, like we're ready to like really just, whoa, you know? So yeah, like it's great. So it's cool. I really recommend it, you know, especially if you have anxiety, CBD is great for that. It's hard to find a bunch of THC strains that are really good for, you know, especially anxiety and stuff. And I don't know, like CBD really is that, like, it has taken my panic attack anxiety. Like THC takes away my anxiety, but I feel like CBD takes away that like panic attack, like, you know, like when my body gets all tense and just like, you know, I get that anxious, like my legs need to just like shake a million miles an hour. Like it gets rid of that. It's incredible.
I need to give it a try.
I know.
Absolutely, you do.
The thing is that there's so many CBD products out there and like brands. It's like, oh my God, where do you start? Like, I don't even know where to begin.
Absolutely. I will send this to you because there's a lot of bull crap out there. The thing is anybody can make CBD. It's not licensed like it is THC. So people, really anybody, honestly, can just make it if we're being real here. Like you can just say, oh, this is CBD and just sell it online and say, as long as you're not giving medical advice, you can just sell it. So a lot of companies will do that because it is non-psychoactive. So I really recommend kind of relying on influencers and people that you feel like you trust in that world, you know, to see, hold on. Sorry, the husband's here. Hi, husband. But, you know, really just to trust people, like to follow the people that you trust with it, you know, don't go to those random companies just because they're offering the 50% offs, you know. You are going to have to spend a little more for good quality. I can't quote you on this. I do have a code right now, code coach for 50% off, Ella Bar Wellness. Go to my Instagram. It's amazing. But it is a little pricier. You know, they are around like 40, 50, maybe even sometimes $60. But again, depending how much you need, you know, if you only need a droplet or two under your tongue every morning, this baby is going to last you a good like month or so, you know.
If you're somebody that uses cannabis a lot, you would probably need like a higher dose of CBD, right?
I've noticed that for a lot of people. Yeah, you know, obviously I don't know exacts, but I know for go ahead, hold on 1 second here. But yeah, I know for a lot of people that uses a lot of THC, that is the situation. Then that is, I think, partially the situation with me too, why I do take a higher amount so I can get to that level, you know, and feel the effects.
Bring me a higher level. That song came up recently. That's just a jam.
That is.
So, you're gonna tell us about WeedCon, right? A little bit.
Yeah, what is that? I've seen you.
You mentioned it.
Instagram. But can you?
Yes.
What is that?
WeedCon is awesome. So WeedCon is a big conference they do down here in California every year. It's literally a weed conference. So it's a bunch of brands, I don't know if you guys have ever been to a legal sesh, where there's a bunch of vendors and booths set up. And so it's literally like, imagine going to like some big like convention center where there's booths everywhere selling all sorts of shit and you can smoke everywhere.
I want to go.
Like, it's like that vibe. That's really what it is. It's like there's these booths, you know, there's the glass companies all set up, or there's the concentrate companies all set up, and they got all the dab rigs. The what?
Hold on, we're breaking up. I lost you.
Okay, there you go. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
How, I
Okay,
mean,
what were we saying?
with Corona, how is that happening?
Well, so right now, that's kind of the whole situation with it, is everything is virtual right now. So WeedCon is now just doing online sessions, online judging sessions, online events. So they're basically every Friday at 4:20. If you go to WeedCon Productions on Instagram, you can find the information on there. But they're having like an hour to hour and a half sessions with people, where judges like me are getting on and judging products. So we're given products every week to to consume and rate if they're good or not. So we go over that too during that, and then we all get really high and people sing, and yeah, they normally do like 2 or 3 different like singers, and it's just a really good fucking time. And it's they're doing the best that they can right now. It's been a growing pain, like we've all been experiencing with these Zoom sessions, and our last session was kind of hard for us. We just had a hard time with internet service and stuff like that, unfortunately, but we're doing the best that we can. So, this upcoming Friday, 4:20, you guys should join us on Zoom, come smoke, come have fun. It's really cool. And then hopefully at the end of the summer, we're going to have a conference somewhere, a convention somewhere, but it's not 100%, obviously. We'll see.
Your people have to bring their own mouthpiece to the dab.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Youth Labs
everything's
sponsor it.
Yeah, seriously. Everything's going to change.
With their ticket, mouthpiece.
Yeah, all those things are going to change. All the conferences are going to change. The big sessions they used to do down here, it's all going to be different. We'll have to see kind of how it goes. But
what's happening now? What happened?
What do you mean what happened?
It went and everybody was like frozen.
Really? I heard him fine.
Yeah, and I still hear that ringing sound.
it is a ringing. I don't think it's my phone. I don't know where that is.
It's Jane's place. It's coming from her computer and she can't hear it.
You guys are funny.
Oh my God. So have you had any like theater experience or theater background? You guys have to check out his TikToks.
I actually have a lot of theater experience.
You do? I know it.
I have like almost 8 years. I did it a lot when I was a kid. I did theater a lot. I was that kid with like the parted hair, like the blonde parted hair, the super cute smile that was in like all the musicals that I could be in, just like singing my heart out. I was totally that kid. And then I did a bunch of acting for a long time too. I used to do some like independent film stuff down there in Arizona. And then I haven't had really too much opportunity here in California yet. I actually just kind of started to dab into acting, and then all this started to happen. So, that's kind of on hold right now. But yeah, I absolutely love it. And then my son.
TikTok, I mean, it's all part of it.
It is. It really is. And my son does acting too.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. We're a very theatrical family.
That's fun. I feel like that's where we're headed. My husband's a musician, and we've been doing like little short films and stuff, and I just feel like everybody's gonna have to be a performer. Okay.
Mm-hmm. No shame in that. I love that too. My husband is too. My husband's a sci-fi creature actor. So it's pretty cool. So he does a lot of that stuff down here, which is pretty epic.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's super cool.
All right. Well, I mean, it's been. Was there anything else we wanted to talk about? I can keep going forever, but I know you have like some dad and husband duties that I don't want to keep you from.
No, I would love to do this again at some point. And the only thing I kind of wanted to say to everybody is I know everybody right now is just going through a hard time. I know some people are taking it better than others, but the reality is that we're all struggling in different ways, and I just want to say to everybody watching this, if anyone listens to this, just to please just remember that we're all in this together, and you are not alone, as much as it feels at times that we literally are sitting at home and we're isolated and no one understands. If there's a time that we shouldn't feel alone, it's now, because everybody fucking gets what we're going through. So lean on your people, lean on your friends, your neighbors, you know, just do what you have to do to keep yourself sane in your mental health. Make your mental health an absolute priority. You know, there's a lot of resources out there that people aren't aware of. There's a lot of coaches doing what I'm doing right now. I'm offering free coaching. Unfortunately, right now, I'm not taking on really much more clients, but you can reach out to me if you need help. I can direct you to other people. The suicide hotline is a great hotline to call as well. You don't even need to be suicidal to call them. You can just reach out to them if you're just having a difficult experience, and they literally will talk to you. And there's just a lot out there. So please just know that, everybody, that it's going to be okay. And it's literally as easy as just picking up the phone right now, you know, and just talk about your shit. Like, don't be ashamed for dealing with what you're dealing with right now.
Yeah, and I think we're kind of always around. You can hit us up, any of us, pot smoking moms. Also, you know, we like to think that we're trying to promote a safe space.
Absolutely.
And, you know, everybody's the community's been very supportive, which I think is a beautiful thing to see, especially right now.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think everyone's really sticking together through all this, you know, for the most part. You know, there is people out there that's making this, I think, a really big deal, unfortunately. And then there's people that aren't taking this seriously at all, you know. But I don't know. It's just, the reality is, though, is I was looking at my Instagram, and I think it was literally exactly 2 weeks ago, maybe a little less, I posted that we just hit 1 million cases globally. And now we are hitting 3 million cases globally as of, I think probably today or tomorrow we'll be there. So we've tripled in cases just in the last 2 weeks. So I know it's really hard for people to stay home right now, but the second that you get that antsiness and you decide it's okay to go out to that public area, you're giving yourself, I mean, you're just exposing yourself, like, bottom line. So we just have to do the best that we can for all of us to just stay healthy and stay home and stay safe. So please, everybody.
100%.
Every time somebody steps out or does groceries or does something, it's like a reset, like your counter resets.
It's hard. And the essentials we have to get, right? But, like, take those precautions. Like, if you're sitting there in the grocery store line, don't be whipping out your phone and touching it, you know, because you just touched everything else. And then you're putting your phone up to your face, and then there it is. Like, you got it, you know, like, it's that simple, and people need to understand that.
Self-awareness, dude, for sure. Yeah. If ever a time where self-awareness needed to start happening, it's right now, you know?
150% agree with that. It needs to happen now. Like, everyone, please be aware of that kind of stuff, because that is how this spreads. But I don't know. We're going to be okay. The reality is we do have to go back to real life too at some point. Yeah. We will start working again. We will go back to that 40-hour a week. God damn it, why am I here? Job.
You know what though? But I feel like
we lost him.
Yeah.
Oh, you can see me?
We lost your audio for a second.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Can you see me now?
Yeah, we can see you. It was the audio.
Okay. Sorry.
No, what were we saying? I totally lost.
He says we're gonna go back to our 40-hour week job. That's where
I feel like, honestly, we need to also learn a lot from all of this. This has to be putting things into perspective. Like, you know, family is very important, and I feel like it's like a rigid, like, people have to bust their ass to make enough money to make ends meet, and that's not fair. It shouldn't have to be like that.
Yeah.
You know, teachers need to get paid because they do a hell of a job, all right? And we need to be able to spend more time with our families if that's the kind of life we need, and still be able to pay the bills. Because at the end of the day, it's connections with your family, and, like, you know, work is work. Like, your family is where the heart is, and it's just, I don't know. I never liked how much work you have to do and how crazy everybody is about, like, working overtime and all this stuff and putting all this time in. And it's like, to me, my time costs more than putting in hours at some place. You know?
I agree completely. It's so important. Like, and I think you're right. Everything right now is putting that all into perspective. I don't know if you're seeing what's happening in New York and stuff, but it's horrendous. They are literally falling apart, and there's thousands of people dying every single day, you know, and I'm seeing all these videos of these bodies getting hauled out. And I just imagine the fact that every single one of those people potentially has a family and has somebody, or, you know what I mean? So I don't know. It's hard at points. It really is. But
there's,
you know,
like, we have to learn a lot from this, environmentally speaking too. Mother Earth is crying out to us, you know. We have to be more crafty. We have to come up with better ways of doing things. And if this isn't a lesson, then I don't know what is.
I agree. That's exactly how it needs to be. We just have to get crafty and just enjoy it. You know, we will go back to everything at some point. So do what you can to just enjoy the present moment, you know. It's important.
Absolutely. And be thankful for what you have, and just, I mean, you know, we're all doing the best we can. And whenever I'm up, I'm looking for those. I'm seeking people out to see who needs an extra lift. And likewise, you know, if I'm feeling down, I have people that, like, we cycle the madness between me and my husband.
Right.
You know?
This is really unique because the entire world is really going through this together. It's not like, you know, a catastrophe that happened in one country. It's the whole world. Everybody's going through this. I was just hearing on the news that they're finally allowing children to go outside in Spain. They haven't been letting them go outside. They've been not allowed outside at all.
Yeah.
I can't even
crazy.
imagine how traumatic that is. For all those months, those kids were trapped inside.
Right. It's awful, you know, but I don't know. It's about staying safe at the end of the day, you know, and as long as we all just listen to the rules and do what they're asking us to do, like, we will get through it. But the more we decide to be defiant and say screw it, like, it's just going to get worse. So again, just please everybody, spread awareness with me, and let's just stay safe.
And wash your hands.
And wash your hands all the time.
Times a day. I have never had such drier skin, and I really use my house.
It's awful.
I have bloody knuckles. Yeah, but you get, like, I'm sorry. The washing hands fucks with you so much. I really have to say, if it's anything that fucks with me, is like the washing of the hands, where it's like, I wash my hands and I'm so, like, you know, into washing my hands that I wash them too fast, and then I think about, like, oh, that wasn't long enough. I need to wash my hands for longer. And then, like,
sing happy birthday twice.
After washing your hands,
right?
Washing your hands, and during washing your hands. And it's just like,
right.
You gotta sing happy birthday twice, Dee. Happy birthday to you.
You do.
Like my son.
I know.
But I feel like I wash my hands after everything I do. Like, it is constant. I change a diaper, I wash my hands. I change another diaper, I wash my hands. I picked something off the floor, gotta wash my hands. Oh my God,
wash
my face. I gotta wash my hands again.
Exactly. It's crazy, you know. I don't know. We'll get through it, though. We will.
We will. We're all getting through it together, and we hope we're helping you. Just so that everybody knows, they can reach you at cclifecoaching.com is the website. On Instagram, he's cannabis_coach. And on TikTok, he's Bradley King _. Do you wanna promote your TikTok? We're gonna do TikTok.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a TikToker. Yes.
Yeah.
You're doing a fabulous job at it.
Thank you.
You're like at 20K now, right?
Yeah, it's been an intense growth, because it's been just like the comedy stuff, you know, and it's different for sure. But yeah, back on the 7th, I only had like 6,000 followers. So just the last few weeks, it's been really cool. But yeah, it's just that it's that can apparent, like, relatable content. People just love it because they get it. You know, they're like, oh my God, I feel the same way. Like, I'm literally just thinking of stuff. I like tell my husband, I'm like, okay, think of something that bothers you, but you would never say out loud. like, because that's what I want to do, you know? It's like those kind of skits.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
It's super fun. I love TikTok. I
know. Yeah, you're amazing on TikTok too. You do amazing on there.
So good. She's so good at it.
It's so much fun. I used to do Vines. Do you remember Vine?
It's fun. I do remember Vines. I didn't get into the Vines, but I did watch them a lot. Yeah, I didn't like
awesome
create stuff.
The Vines.
Oh my god, I was
That's
like,
awesome.
Short form comedy videos. All right, let's do it. It was so much
right.
fun. I was very heartbroken when they tore down that platform. I was just like, oh, I really like it. I thought this was gonna, blow up.
Yeah, I know.
So TikTok was very refreshing. I was like kind of skeptical about it, and then I was just like, oh, screw it, let's do it. Why not? And it's super fun, and that's why I was talking to you like, yo, gotta do the cannabis stuff, man.
That's good. I love it. It's awesome. If you're not on TikTok, get on TikTok because it is a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and create.
And potsmokingmoms.com, go there, communicate with us through Instagram. You can be our TikTok friend. Twitter, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Twitter, right? I don't really.
No. I mean, who really does Twitter? Like, let's be real.
I don't know. I feel like I just, and Facebook, forget about our Facebook, just Instagram, TikTok, and like email subscription so you can get in our virtual sessions and whatnot and our podcast. So thanks so much for joining us. We love you, Bradley. We hope we can hang out with you sometime soon.
We will. I feel like one day we're all going to meet and we're going to have like the best time ever. It's going to be awesome.
We're taking a road trip to California for sure.
You need to.
Road.
Yes, it'd be so great. It'll be so much fun.
So thanks so much for taking the time to hang with us. We'll catch you around the internet. Thanks everybody for listening or watching.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.